Abraham's death left a legacy that outweighed any physical territory, a divine covenant promising that through this specific family, every nation on earth would be blessed. That inheritance fell to his son, Isaac. But the lineage immediately hit a biological anomaly. Isaac's wife Rebekah carried twins who violently struggled against each other in the womb. When she sought God, the response flipped ancient tradition upside down. 2 nations are in your womb, and the older will serve the younger. As the boys grew, so did the divide. Esau, the rugged, red-haired hunter, became Isaac's favorite. Jacob, the quiet, calculating man who stayed among the tents, became Rebekah's. The parents had explicitly chosen sides. Combine a disruptive divine prophecy with blatant parental favoritism, and you get an explosive familial powder keg. One son was going to claim the supreme blessing, and the other was going to lose it entirely. The first fracture happens over a bowl of soup. Esau comes in from the open pantry, completely exhausted and driven entirely by immediate physical hunger. As the firstborn, Esau holds the birthright, the legal claim to inherit the primary share of the family's wealth and leadership. He asks his brother for some stew. Jacob demands the birthright in exchange. Driven by a momentary craving, Esau agrees. Jacob recognized his brother's weakness and exploited it without hesitation. He secured his own legal standing over a single meal of bread and red lentils. Esau ate, drank, and walked away, despising his birthright. They were treating an eternal, spiritual promise like a cheap, transactional commodity. Fast forward to Isaac's twilight years. He is old, his eyes are failing, and he wants to finalize the succession. He asks Esau to hunt some wild game so he can eat and bestow his final blessing upon his favorite son before he dies. In the ancient Near East, a testamentary blessing was a legally and spiritually binding transfer of power. Once spoken aloud, it was absolute. It could never be retracted. Rebekah overhears this plan. Knowing the weight of those words, she immediately orchestrates a masterclass in deception to ensure her favored son intercepts the blessing instead. The mechanics of the disguise are highly specific. While Esau is out hunting, Rebekah slaughters 2 young goats and prepares the meat to mimic the taste of wild game. She takes Esau's best, unwashed clothes and dresses Jacob in them. Finally, she ties the rough goat skins to Jacob's smooth hands and the back of his neck. Mother and son are actively exploiting an old man's sensory failure. They are attempting to force the hand of God through human manipulation. Jacob walks into his father's tent. Isaac is immediately suspicious. The hunter returned far too quickly. "How is it that you found it so quickly, my son?" Jacob lies to his father's face, claiming God gave him success. Still doubting, Isaac asks his son to come close so he can touch him. He runs his hands over the rough goat hair, noting aloud that the voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's. The final trigger is sent. Isaac leans in and smells the open fields on Esau's stolen clothes. Satisfied, he eats the meal and releases the ultimate blessing of supremacy, giving Jacob lordship over his brothers and the fatness of the earth. Barely has Jacob left the tent when the real Esau returns. When Isaac realizes the trick, he trembles violently. Esau lets out a bitter, agonizing cry, begging for a blessing too. But all that is left for him is a harsh prophecy of servitude and the sword. Jacob's heist is a total tactical success, but the cost is the immediate catastrophic fracturing of his family. Esau makes a vow of premeditated murder, promising to kill his brother the moment their father is buried. Jacob secured the ultimate inheritance on paper, but he immediately loses everything in reality. To survive, he is forced to flee his home, his wealth, and his mother. He heads toward the distant city of Haran. He is leaving behind the very territory of the covenant he just lied to acquire. Night falls on his journey. He is completely isolated in the wilderness. Having left the comfort of his tents, he finds a smooth stone, puts it under his head, and goes to sleep. Jacob spent his entire life scheming for earthly power, and that relentless pursuit has paradoxically left him sleeping in the dirt, stripped of all comfort. In that total isolation, an impossible dream breaks through. Jacob sees a massive stairway resting on the earth, with its top reaching into heaven, and the angels of God ascending and descending on it. The Lord stands at the top. The message from the heavens is shocking. God does not praise Jacob for his clever deception. Instead, he unilaterally confirms the covenant. He promises to protect the fugitive, wherever his journey takes him, and to bring him back home. Jacob wakes up terrified. He realizes he is standing on sacred ground. He takes the stone he used as a pillow, sets it up as a pillar, and pours oil on it, naming the desolate place Bethel, the house of God. This biblical lineage traces its origin through broken, manipulative individuals, suggesting a narrative driven more by persistent divine grace than by the moral perfection of its flawed protagonists.